Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're taking a road trip through Germany. But this isn't just about the sights. Nope. We're on a mission to uncover some of the secret tools hidden deep inside the German language itself. So you might want to buckle up.
Every single language has its own secrets, its own kind of hidden logic. And what we're about to discover is that German's logic, well, it's so much more than just a bunch of dusty old grammar rules. It's actually this incredible system for navigating tricky social situations, for exploring alternate realities, and even for grappling with history itself. So what if I told you that German has something like a built-in politeness mode, or even a time travel tense? And no, I'm not talking about boring textbook stuff. These are real, powerful tools people use every day to soften a request, to make a prediction, or to explore moments in history that, well, never actually happened. And we are going to see them all in action. All right, so let's meet our guides for this trip. This is Ralf and Mia Gruber. We're going to tag along as they plan a trip from their home in Ingolstadt all the way to the historic cities of Wittenberg and Berlin. And their first big decision is how to get there. The one and only, the famous German Autobahn. Okay, so first things first, let's just clear something up about the Autobahn. Because we all have this image of it, right? This high-speed, lawless paradise. Well, that's mostly a myth. I mean, yeah, it's true that over half of it has no posted speed limit, but there is a recommended speed. And get this, a whole third of it has strictly enforced limits, especially near cities. So it is definitely not the total free-for-all some people imagine. So as Ralf and Mia are figuring out their drive, their conversation is actually our first clue. It gives us a perfect look at German grammar in the wild. You see, they're not just picking a route. They're using these really specific linguistic tools to be polite with each other and to talk about their plans for the future. So what exactly is this politeness mode? Well, the fancy grammar term is the subjunctive, but here's what it really does. Instead of just barking a command, you use this special verb form to kind of cushion your request. It makes it sound way less forceful and a lot more like a gentle suggestion. And this is a brilliant way to see how it works. Let's say you're at a deli counter. Your direct thought might be, give me salami. But you'd never say that, right? Instead, you'd use the subjunctive. You'd say, ich hätte gern, which basically means I would like to have. And just like that, boom! Your direct command is instantly transformed into a polite, socially normal request. It's such a small change, but it has a huge impact. And we see Mia use this perfectly. She knows that asking Ralf to add Berlin to the trip, that's a big ask. So instead of a direct question like, will you drive me to Berlin? She uses the subjunctive, would you drive me? See how that just softens the whole thing? It's her way of acknowledging that she's asking for a favor without demanding it. Okay, let's move on to our next tool. When it's time to talk about what's to come, German uses this really handy little helper verb, werden. Now, it literally means to become, and it acts like a little signpost that just says, hey, what I'm about to say is happening in the future. And Ralf uses it right here while he's calculating their drive time. He says, das wird brauchen, or that will take. And notice how simple the structure is. You just use the verb werden, and then you kick the main action verb, in this case, to take, all the way to the end of the sentence. It's a really clean and efficient way to talk about the future. Now, the Grubers have arrived in Wittenberg. This is the city of Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. I mean, history is literally everywhere you look. So when you're standing in a place so steeped in the past, your conversation naturally starts to shift from what is to what might have been. And this brings us to our time travel tense. I mean, think about it. Every language needs a way to talk about hypotheticals, right? To discuss counterfactuals and these alternate realities. In German, guess what? This is another job for the subjunctive, but this time it's used to look back into the past. So first, let's establish the historical fact. When Ralf points out the actual spot where Martin Luther posted his 95 Theses, he uses the standard past tense. Hier hat angeschlagen. This is just stating what actually happened. It is a fact. But now, watch what happens when Ralf starts talking about himself. He switches that little helping verb from hat to hätte, and that single change shifts the entire meaning from a historical fact to a personal, hypothetical reality. He's not saying he was afraid, he's saying he would have been afraid. This is the grammar of what if. And their whole conversation is built on this very structure. Mia kicks things off with a what-if question, and then both she and Ralf use that past subjunctive. Would have done, would not have written, would have been, to explore a reality that never even existed. In a way, they're literally time traveling with language.
For their final stop, the groupers head to Berlin, a city where you really can't walk a block without encountering its complex and often very painful history. Here, the past isn't just in museums, it's written into the very fabric of the city.
And to understand modern Berlin, you really have to understand this timeline, the division after World War II, the construction and eventual fall of the wall, and then the unification of Germany. These events are the absolute foundation of the city's identity today. And Berlin does not hide from this history. It confronts it head-on. Museums dedicated to the wall, the East German secret police, the Stasi, and the Holocaust, they aren't tucked away on some side street. They're central features of the city, actively inviting reflection and remembrance from absolutely everyone who walks by. The Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe is maybe the most powerful example. It's not a statue you just look at. It's an experience you walk through. This maze of over 2,700 concrete slabs, all at different heights, is designed to make you feel disoriented and isolated. It's a silent, profound space for contemplation right in a city center. So let's bring this all back together. We've seen how the German language can handle politeness, the future, and these hypothetical pasts. But what in the world does this have to do with a city like Berlin? Well, this is the key takeaway right here. Grammar provides the essential tools for a culture to process its own story. The ability to distinguish between what did happen and what could have happened, that's not just some abstract exercise. It is absolutely fundamental to how we remember, how we learn, and how we imagine a different future. And that's the ultimate question to leave you with. The language we speak doesn't just describe our world. It provides the very framework for how we interpret our past and engage with its most challenging questions. So think about it for a second. How does your language help you understand where you've come from?